Maggie Shane, and this is EatLikeYouGiveAShit.com. Today's post is the 6-step help overhaul. I do not like to read long, boring explanations all the time. Sometimes I do geek out over the details, but mainly I'm racing from one task to the next, so it's nice to find a concise list of actionable steps to take to help me achieve my goals, and without any lengthy introductions. My bad. So here we go, straight to the meat. Well, very bad pun. Here we go, straight to the vegetables. 6 steps to the greatest health of your life. All right, follow along, take notes, there will be a quiz. Step 1, clean out your refrigerator. You need to get rid of anything that's meat. Now, meat includes poultry and fish. Yes, it does. It's all meat. If it had a mama and a face, it's meat. You want to get rid of all animal products as well. This includes eggs, all the dairy products, all the cheese, milk, cream, margarine, coffee creamer. Please understand that non-dairy creamer is full of dairy. Okay, the only real non-dairy creamer is the plant-based creamer, but that's made of oil and sugar. So you don't want that either. Let's learn to drink our coffee black, folks. And there are some other things we can do, and I'll tell you about those. You can take some almond milk, soy milk, and oat milk are all very good substitutes for dairy milk. And get yourself a coffee frother. Sprinkle a little bit of sugar in a little bit of that milk, and use the coffee frother in it, and it'll foam right up beautifully. You can sprinkle some cinnamon in there. You can put a few drops of vanilla in there. You can flavor it any way you want. Peppermint mocha, go for it. Pumpkin spice, you got it. Flavor it how you want. Play with this a little bit. It's like a big, creamy, wonderful dessert. And then drink the coffee through the foam, and you get the creamy flavor without all the problems. So there you have it. But back to step 1, clean out your refrigerator. 1B, repeat the same thing with your cabinets and your pantry. Get rid of white flour. Get rid of white sugar. Get rid of enriched white pasta. You don't want enriched anything. The reason they enrich flour is because they have stripped away all its nutrients and now it's no good. So they have to put fake nutrients back in to make it worth eating. So enriched is a key word. Do not buy anything enriched. Buy it already rich. Buy it whole. So you're going to get rid of all the processed foods, get rid of all the mixes, get rid of your oils, including olive oil and coconut oil, get rid of your spray oils, your Pam and whatnot. Ditch the mayo and the prepared salad dressings. Just clean it out. Just hoe it out. You might as well start fresh. There's almost nothing in there you want. If it's not produce, get rid of it. Clean out the freezer. This is 1C. Same rules. 1D, wash them all down. And you're going to want to really scrub and disinfect, because once you have done this task once, it feels so good to never have to worry about meat having contaminated your fridge or your countertops or your freezer all the time, or your pans and your pots and your oven all the time. You're never going to have anything dripping blood into the back of your refrigerator ever again. You're never going to have to figure out what that horrible smell is in there and take out all the drawers to find out where it's coming from. That's over. Those days are done. Now you can donate anything that's unopened and it hasn't expired to a local food pantry. Give it to your friends and neighbors. I don't care what you do with it. Remind yourself that the stuff you have to throw out was destined for the septic tank anyway. It was just going to harm the shit out of your body on the way through. Now, step 2, it's the logical next step, restock. You're going to have to shop around the outside edges of the grocery store from now on. The produce section most of the time. Buy potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, beets, onions, carrots, root vegetables are where you get your satisfaction, and whole grains, of course. We're gonna buy peppers and mushrooms and broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and celery and greens, all the greens. And in the fruit section, we're going to go with berries and oranges and apples and mangoes and bananas and kiwi and melons, everything you can think of. Try all the fruits if you haven't tried them before. Always have fruit in your house, never run out. Eat fruit every day. In the freezer section, get more veggies, peas and corn and frozen broccoli and cauliflower because they're easier. I'm not going to try to say it. The soybeans, get those. Black soybeans, a tablespoon of black soybeans a day will reduce your cholesterol 10 points in a year. So do that. Black soybeans, they're very good. A really cool trick is to get some baby food freezer trays and put some soybeans in each little compartment, put the lid on, stick them in the freezer, and then every day just pop out a tablespoon of soybeans and throw it in whatever you're making or cooking for yourself. Top a salad with it, whatever. Reduce that cholesterol. I always get large bags of frozen greens in the freezer section because it's so much easier than washing and sorting and chopping greens every day. And I do eat them every single day. You can also buy in the freezer section pre-cooked rice so that you don't have to cook it. That's a pain. It's time consuming. You have to cook the rice. So get the pre-cooked, but only brown rices, only whole grain rices. White rice is not a whole grain rice. In the canned section now, focus on beans. I get cans of every sort. I try to find reduced sodium or no salt added if at all possible. The darker the bean, the higher the protein as a rule. So the black beans are very, very rich, but they all are high in protein. Get lentils. Lentils are a complete protein source all by themselves. If you're pinching pennies, buy the beans in the dried food section. Get them in bags. Also in the canned section, you want to get lots and lots of diced tomatoes. Diced tomatoes with mild green chilies too. A couple cans of tomato paste and some canned mushrooms just for emergencies. Oh, in the freezer section, get frozen mushrooms too, just for emergencies. The fresh ones don't stay fresh that long. I only like to shop once a week. So when the mushrooms start to go bad, I use them up quick, and I always have backup mushrooms in the freezer and in cans in the cabinet. You're going to want to focus in on the whole grains, including whole grain breads and rolls that don't also contain oils or partial foods. The purest of these is the Ezekiel brand breads, rolls, wraps, and English muffins. They're made with sprouted grains. They are good, they're tasty, and they're really, really good for you. You can find them in the freezer section. Another brand that passes muster, though not as healthy as Ezekiel, but pretty close, is Dave's Killer Breads. That's probably my favorite brand of breads. They have breads and rolls. Now check each kind because some of the brands are on the program with the whole grains and no dairy and no oil, and other flavors of the Ezekiel bread might not, or rather the Dave's Killer Bread might not be. So check them all. With the Ezekiel, they're all fine. Other whole grains that you should be buying are oatmeal, quinoa, the brown rices, pearl barley, soba noodles, udon noodles, both in the Asian food section, corn tortillas, whole grain burritos, and so on. Sourdough bread is also an awesome choice, especially homemade, without oil or dairy products, nothing else, just the sourdough, even if it's not whole grain, because of the fermentation. Fermentation is so important for us. I know I don't get enough fermentation in my diet. A lot of us don't. So the more sourdough bread you eat, you're getting a little more fermentation. You can also add things like miso and sauerkraut and other fermented foods. Slightly processed foods are okay. A lot of things that we really need in this diet are processed. We have the nutritional yeast. We're going to need that. It's made from the fermentation of molasses, I believe. So nutritional yeast is great. It has a cheesy umami flavor. It's like a yellow flaky substance. You sprinkle it on stuff and use it for seasoning. It's wonderful stuff. And it's chock full of B12. You're going to need reduced sodium tamari, which is a mild vegan soy sauce. It doesn't have the fish ingredients in it like some soy sauces do. Tamari is always safe. Get the low salt, low sodium if you can. And some vegan Worcestershire sauce is also very good. I make my marinade for my tofu with equal parts balsamic vinegar, vegan Worcestershire sauce, and the low sodium tamari. That's my marinade. A little liquid smoke sometimes in there too. Sometimes some ginger. You might want to buy some veggie broth. Check the ingredients. They're starting to put oil in some of those, and we don't want that. So go low or no salt on those as well. Oh, and don't forget nuts and seeds. Flaxseed for your omega-3s, very important. Sunflower seeds, not salted in oil, just plain old sunflower seeds. Sesame seeds, chia seeds to scatter on salads and sandwiches. I always have peanuts, cashews, almonds, pecans, and walnuts if I can get them. I buy them in the bulk bins, and I taste a nut before I buy because about 50% of the time the oil, the natural oil in the nut has already gone rancid. So you've got to really check them when you're buying from the bins. But and the walnuts seem to go bad the fastest. But if you check them first and then get a big nice batch of nuts and keep them in your fridge until you use them, they'll be fine. I will stick in the caveat that if you're trying to reduce your cholesterol or lose weight, really keep the nuts to a bare minimum, maybe a tablespoon a day, really max. And so that's like a teaspoon of the creams, peanut butter or cashew cream that you might make from them, or the walnut sauce that's so delicious that you'll get eventually a recipe for that. I always have natural peanut butter on hand, and that is a one ingredient item, peanuts. No added oil, no salt, nothing else, just peanuts. You're going to want some plant-based milks. We've already talked about that. Almond is good. Soy is good. Oat is okay. What not to buy? Plant-based butter, plant-based sour cream, plant-based ranch dressing, plant-based cheese, plant-based cream cheese, plant-based chicken nuggets, fillets, patties, burgers, patties, steaks. I think I said patties twice, but there are multiple kinds of patties, okay? Pretty much anything that has plant-based stamped on the package is ultra-processed garbage. You gotta cook. You gotta buy real food that is recognizable, and then you gotta put it together yourself. Now, the exceptions. I have a few exceptions of processed foods that I do use, that you can use, that fit the requirements of a whole food plant-based diet. And those are the Real Veggies brand sweet potato burgers and black bean burgers. And I think there might be one other variety in the Real Veggie brand that is whole food plant-based. Check the labels. And there are these mycelium fillets made entirely with mushroom root. No oil added. And they're really wonderful. They're tricky to cook, but a little practice makes perfect. Now we're on to step 3. Get a nice frying pan. It's really important. You want more than one, but start with one. You need a nice pan. It can be stainless steel, or it can have a good non-toxic non-stick coating. You're going to learn oil-free cooking. This is part of step 3. Get the nice frying pan, then learn the oil-free cooking. I have a video demo of that, so I will link that in the show notes. Step 4, get some numbers and write them down. Either get your annual physical ASAP, or get the numbers from your most recent one, which is probably the more practical thing to do. You're going to want your blood pressure, your weight, your cholesterol numbers, the total cholesterol, the HDL, the LDL. You're going to want your A1C numbers and any other blood work that they did. Now, for blood pressure, that's something you want to be really checking daily, especially if you're anywhere over 50. You take your blood pressure the same time every morning, in the same place, in the same circumstances. You know, you want to not have eaten something radically different. You want to not have just drank a bunch of high-test coffee. You want to be in the same situation every day, sitting down, both feet on the floor, your blood pressure cuff up near the heart level. And take your blood pressure every morning and write it down. And then you'll know what your normal is. If you do the steps on this list, even just these 6 steps, your blood pressure is going to get lower and lower, and your blood sugar is going to get lower and lower. Now write everything down because you're going to see amazing improvements, and that is really the fun part of this. One of the most fun parts of this. Now we're almost to the end. We're up to step 5. I hate this one. We have to move our bodies every day. And I know I talk about this in almost every blog post, but that's how important it is. Just walk for an hour a day, or do a brisk walk or jog for a half an hour a day. That's your base. On top of that, you're going to add a little more. You want to break into a dance or run up and down the stairs every once in a while, a few times a day to get your heart rate up. Run around outside with a dog. You really need to get your heart rate up every single day and keep it up there for a few minutes and do it repeatedly. Recent medical studies have shown that this is as good an approach than doing like aerobics for 45 minutes and keeping your heart rate up the whole time. And so you want to work your heart muscle, and you want to work your other muscles too. You want to do some squats every now and then, maybe pop a couple of push-ups, do some sit-ups, do something first thing in the morning, do something before you go to bed. Work it into your routine. Step 6. Reinforce your decision and stay positive. You need to have fun with this. Find ways to make it fun and exciting. Counting those numbers and keeping track is only one way. Watching the scales go lower and lower is another really fun way to do this, and you don't have to try. It just happens. Experiment with new recipes, try new approaches to cooking, new foods that you've never had before, new ideas, and fill yourself with the positive reinforcement that's out there by keeping this graphic handy to remind you of all the good you're doing. Do you know the good that one person going vegan can do? If you stop eating beef, you keep 1.4 tons of CO2 from entering Earth's atmosphere. If you stop eating all meat, including fish and poultry, you keep 1.6 tons of CO2 from entering our atmosphere. The land use to feed meat eaters is about 3 acres per person per year. To feed vegetarians, not 3, but 1/2 acre per person per year. So meat eaters are using 6 times more land and resources than vegetarians. And how much do you think vegans use? 1/6 of an acre per person per year. So the vegetarians are using 3 times as much of Earth's resources as vegans. And the meat eaters, and I'm doing this math in my head on the spot, 6 times 3, 18 times as much as vegans. So that's a good one to keep your positivity going. If you stop eating meat, eggs, and dairy, you save 1.8 tons of CO2 from entering Earth's atmosphere, which is as much as if you switch to a hybrid car. A vegan produces 1/2 as much CO2, uses 1/11 as much fossil fuel, 1/13 as much water, 1/18 as much land. Oh, I got the math right. One person going vegan saves 1,100 gallons of water, 45 pounds of grain, 30 square feet of forest, 10 pounds of CO2, and 1 animal's life every single day. 6B. Reinforce your decision in another way by immersing yourself in positive feedback. You can do this by following these podcasts: the Aged Like a Boss podcast, the Plant Strong podcast, Plant-Based with Anne and Jane Esselstyn, the Exam Room podcast from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And I will provide you links to all of these. Rewatch the basic documentaries that reinforce our knowledge and solidify it more with every viewing. We need to know this information cold so that we can help other people figure it out. Okay, so the documentaries are, and there are many documentaries, but these are the best ones, I think. There's Forks Over Knives, What the Health, Cowspiracy, The Game Changers, that's about athletes who are vegan, Food Choices, and Plant Pure Nation. So that was all 6 steps, and 2 of them were shopping and watching TV. Let me know, which steps you decide to take and when you take them. I cannot wait to hear how you're doing. What to expect. Your energy levels are going to increase right off the bat. Your weird feelings of blah and black will dissipate, and your brain fog will lift. Your weight will drop without effort. You'll feel energetically better too. Your mood will improve. You'll be happier. You'll rarely, if ever, catch whatever bug everybody else has. We never got COVID here. We got vaccinated, but we never got COVID. If you're male, your erections will return. What a lovely thing. Do you know that erectile dysfunction is the canary in the coal mine for heart disease? Because the reason erectile dysfunction happens is because those tiny little blood vessels in the penis are clogged with saturated fat and cholesterol and plaque. Now, if those arteries and blood vessels are clogged with fat, so are these. These are just bigger. They take longer to completely block. It's the exact same process happening in both places, above and below. And when you eat better, that goes away. Your heart disease vanishes. Well, it improves. And because you've already done some damage and you're not going to be able to repair it all, but it improves. And your erections will return. For women, hormonal swings level out because dairy is hormone juice. It's naturally, not that they add hormones, not that they inject the cows with hormones. These are breastfeeding mothers. They are nothing but hormones. Milk is a hormonal fluid. You can't have milk without hormones. So your hormone levels are going to level out. Your reflux, if you get chronic reflux like I did, that just goes away. Mine went away within 3 days of a vegan diet. Your joint aches ease. Dandruff and flaking skin and issues like that go away. Weird rashes and things go away. Your gut biome rebuilds itself healthily. It's thriving. And from there, the rest of your health follows. You're not going to believe how good you're going to feel. So try the 6 steps and let me know how it goes. See you next time.